Welcome to Pottery Painting 101. So first things first, pottery can be dusty and that can cause a little bit of claggy paint and glaze. So try and give that a good wipe with some water all the way around and make sure you do the inside as well. This will make it nice and clear surface for you to do painting on. If you've got my rental kits, then you'll need to take the nozzle paint off just to pour out some paint. You won't need very much, so make sure not to pour out too much paint. We don't want too much wastage. For pottery painting, you want to do 3 coats of paint to get the nice bold colours that you see on the colour chart. Always be sure to go by the colours on the colour chart and not by the paint because they do change quite a lot. Touch your finger on the paint to make sure it's dry between each layer and then keep painting. We also say to try and do lighter colours at the bottom and darker colours over the top, just because darker colours on the bottom with lighter over the top can cancel out in the kiln and you don't want your hard work to disappear. Washi tape is a great technique to use for doing straight lines, and what we want to make sure is that we really press that washi tape down nice and firmly. You can do it over washi tape and do grid system as well if you like. Another tool to use is if we got this ball tool, so you can dip it into the paint and do polka dots. So you will need to keep refilling it each time, but this is one of the ways to do polka dots. Another way is you grab the end of your paintbrush, dip it into the paint, and then you can do it that way. You will get bigger polka dots that way, but again, you will need to refill it each time. My personal favourite is using the detail nozzles. Whenever you're using these, make sure to squeeze them out onto the palette first because they can spray out and we don't want to ruin your beautiful artwork. I find these better just because they are more even and you're going to get more even polka dots throughout. If you want to do some detail writing, like writing or drawing, best thing to do is draw it on in felt tip first. This will burn off in the kiln and then you can either go over with a paintbrush or with the squeezy detail nozzles. Remember to squeeze it out onto the palette first just in case it sprays out, and then evenly squeeze as you paint whatever you'd like. It comes out in 3 coats, so you only need to do it once. If you want to do some graffiti design, paint your 3 coats, then use the ball tool and just scratch out what you want to do. Make sure not to press too hard that you scratch the pottery, and then you can either wipe away with your finger or use a dry brush. This is a great way to do light over dark because you can use the absence of paint to paint over it. Last thing would be to use those sponge botters for circles, so dip it in and make sure you use the inside of your palette to get a firmly even coverage, and then go over it 2 to 3 times like you do with the normal paint. If you do make a mistake and you get paint where you don't want it, wait for it to dry, then scratch at it with your nail and rub it away like a rubber and it will go. So the last thing to do will be to take off your washi tape. This is actually really satisfying, so I'm sure you'll enjoy this bit. This was just a display mug, so I just wanted to show you the techniques you can use. If you've got any questions, drop me a message.